Hi, my name's Matthew Tate. Welcome to Fork in the Road. This is a continuation of my adoption series, and in particular, my book review of The Primal Wound by Nancy Verriers, one of those adoption classics that everybody needs to read and have an opinion of. So, The Primal Wound, there's a couple of chapters in here as I look at the book. One in particular was loss in the mourning process. So, one of the theories of the basic premise of The Primal Wound is about that separation of baby from mother and how it can really affect the psyche. One of the things that every adoptee needs to work through is to see if there's something nested inside you, deep in your, can be nested in your body as an old memory, because we store our highly emotional memories in our bodies, or it could be a memory or just continued trauma in your life. If you're having that, it might be a inability to grieve a sadness of a lost mother. Even as an infant, I was amazed to find out, we can have this suppressed grief. It's like a very basic trauma that sits with us. And so we need to get that out of our body. And Gabor Mate talks about that trauma as a child, which kind of weaves nicely into the primal wound. And one of the things he talks about is that you can have this, if you think about it, you know, if someone attacks you right now, you've got some choices as an adult. As an adult, what you could do is you could fight, you could decide to, I'm going to take you out. You could run, flight, get out of there. These are the ancient parts of your brain operating. The primal lizard brain, or reptilian brain as they call it. And so you could do fight or flight, get out. Those are two choices that you've got. But what if you don't have those two choices? Well, Mother Nature has built inside of us a third option, and that is to freeze, to shut down, to suppress. If you look at maybe a lion cub out in the wilderness, if the mother doesn't come, Mother Nature knows, all right, we'll keep this baby quiet, so we'll biologically tell it to quieten down and make yourself small until mum finds you. This is what happens to us neurologically. Like the lion cub trying to survive without its mother until its mum shows up, because it somehow knows there are predators about. By keeping itself quiet, we do this in our mind. If the mother doesn't come to save us, we shut ourselves down. We shut down our emotions. We suppress our emotions. And this can happen in many forms. Like the lion cub, we have grief. We have to go through that grieving, but we shut it down. Then if you transpose the baby into an adoptive family, then there's the love for the adoptive family, and then you don't have this sort of right to grieve. And so more suppression of feeling happens, because you want to make sure that you're safe in that environment to suppress your feelings like the lion cub, and make sure that you're okay and you're accepted in that environment, because acceptance is survival in the ancient parts of our brain. So it's a fascinating concept about grieving, and grieving unresolved. This unresolved grieving is where you then can go off and find yourself a psychologist, hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, somebody, a self-directed healer. You could find one of those different modalities. So there's videos I'm doing in this channel which can tell you all about those modalities. The idea is to resolve and to process those emotions that we don't allow ourselves to feel. So sadness, grief can be something we need to release and process. And that can be a hard process, because we usually, as humans, like to avoid pain. We don't want to face up to it. But if it's running your life, we can find really calm and effective ways to process this out of the body. So go on that journey. It's worth it. it's worth so much finding a way to resolve those, well, what seem to be inner demons, but is actually just Mother Nature helping you to survive. But it helped you to survive when you were an infant, and now you're an adult. So we have choices now. So I hope that helps. Please have a read of the Primal Wound. It is worth reading because you're going to learn so much and form opinions. And even if you get one or two little snippets that you can help resolve inside yourself, you can start to make that journey from whatever's going on now to your authentic self. My name's Matthew Tate. What if you did read the Primal Wound? You might discover who you are. You might resolve any inner conflict inside yourself. This is Fork in the Road. My name's Matthew Tate.